23:05 in the middle of the Atlantic. The third mate picks up the phone to the captain's cabin. It's advancing toward our track line and puts us real close to it. 8 minutes later he calls again. This time he brings a way out. At 0200, he says, they could turn south. At 0200 we could head south, and that would open it up some. At 0120, the second mate calls with the same idea. She has already plotted it. Right now my track line, I have 0200. Alter course straight south. 3 calls. The course did not change. 6 hours later El Faro was gone, with all 33 people on board. The worst American shipping loss in more than 30 years. The investigation was run by the National Transportation Safety Board, which does not assign fault or blame. This film takes the same position. El Faro. 790 feet, steam turbine, built in 1975. 40 years old, running Jacksonville to San Juan every week. A conversion had raised her maximum draft by more than 2 feet. Every opening in her hull now sat 2 feet closer to the sea. The passage plan was the one she always used. A straight line, southeast, outside the Bahamas. This is where Joaquin was forecast to go. The report puts it plainly. That plan, as drawn at departure, led directly into the storm's predicted path. At 20:07 on the 29th of September, she cast off. 33 people. 11,000 tons of cargo. The harbor pilot later testified to what the captain told him. They were just going to go out and shoot under it. The report marks the points along the route where new information reached the bridge, and the ship could still have turned away. At 06:24 the next morning, a 7-degree course change. A good little diversion, the captain called it. You can't run every single weather pattern. At 07:39 Joaquin officially became a hurricane. El Faro never received that bulletin. It was not on her satellite broadcast schedule. 50 minutes later, on the bridge. We'll be about 60 miles south of the eye. It should be fine. We are gonna be fine. Not should be. We are gonna be fine. At 09:52 her sister ship emailed. The storm was intensifying and tracking southwest. They had recorded a 100-knot gust. At 14:14 a Coast Guard aircraft broadcast a hurricane warning for the central Bahamas. A second broadcast followed at 14:38. Both officers on the bridge said the same word. Wow! By 18:30 she was about 60 nautical miles from the entrance to Northeast Providence Channel, one of the ways in behind the Bahamas. A month earlier she had taken the sheltered route through the old Bahama Channel to avoid Tropical Storm Erika. Instead a new course was laid, past San Salvador. It took the ship nearer the eye. 2 streams of weather reached that bridge. One was text. The other was pictures. Both came from the same source, the National Hurricane Center. But the graphical package arrived about 6 hours behind. The file sent at 2300 was not opened until 04:45. By then it was almost 12 hours old. The old picture placed El Faro in the navigable semicircle. The current text placed her in the dangerous one. At 05:03, the captain said he was getting conflicting reports about where the center of the storm was. We're getting conflicting reports as to where the center of the storm is. The report concluded that the bridge most likely never realized which of the two was current. If you're finding this useful, a like and a subscribe genuinely help. New investigation every 2 weeks. Go back to the night before. The third mate had the numbers. 22 miles from the center at 0400. 100 knots, gusting 120. At 0400 we'll be 22 miles from the center. With max 100, with gusts to 120, and strengthening. Investigators have a name for this. Mitigated speech. A concern softened until it can be set aside without anyone losing face. Off the phone, to the helmsman, he was blunter. I trust what he's saying. It's just being 20 miles away from 100-knot winds. This doesn't even sound right. At 01:20 the second mate called with an escape already plotted through Crooked Island Passage. She was told to hold the course. At 01:24 the ship turned onto 116. It was the last course change that mattered. Coming out of the lee of San Salvador she began to slow, and to take on a list. Green water over the bow. By 05:20 the recorder logged a wind of 108 knots. Down in the engine room, that list was doing something nobody on board knew it could do. The pipe feeding the main engine's lubricating oil sat 22 inches off center, to starboard. List far enough to port, and it would break the surface of the oil. Modeling put that angle at 18 degrees. A fuller sump would most likely have kept the pipe covered. Meanwhile seawater was already inside her. A scuttle, a man-size hatch in the second deck leading down to number 3 hold, had been left open. The chief mate had warned about exactly this, the evening before. Those scuttles need to be dogged, not just flipped down. They need to be spun and sealed. The cards in that hold broke loose. 1. The report concludes, most likely struck the seawater pipe to the emergency fire pump. 600 tons an hour, against pumps that at best moved 195. To find where the water was coming from, the ship was turned, deliberately shifting the list to the other side. It was the one direction the oil system could not take. Within minutes, the engine stopped. I think we just lost the plant. She lay beam to the seas in a Category 3 hurricane. And her cargo hold ventilators, which her certificate required to be kept open at sea, were now a down flooding path. Asked what angle of heel would begin to sink her, the captain had no answer. The ship carried no damage control plan. The down flooding angle? That I don't have an answer for you. A second hold alarmed at 07:16. The general alarm rang 11 minutes later. Abandon ship, 2 minutes after that. Her lifeboats were open boats, certified to launch at 15 degrees of list. She was past that. Outside, 105 knots, and seas of 36 feet. 6 hours earlier, the second mate had joked that nobody ever checks whether their survival suit fits. Then she asked whether there were even life jackets on the bridge. We don't have any life jackets up here on the bridge, do we? Where are the life preservers? Here? Where are the life preservers on the bridge? Going down. You're not going down. Come on. I'm gone. No, you're not. It's time to come this way. The recording ends there. 23 degrees 23 minutes north, 73 degrees 54 minutes west. About 20 nautical miles north of Samana Key, in the Bahamas. The wreck was found a month later, on the seabed 15,000 feet below. The recorder took 10 months to bring up. It is why we know any of this. The board's probable cause names insufficient action to avoid the hurricane, weather information that was not current, and a late decision to muster the crew. The value of a report like this is not in who it names. It is in what it hands the next bridge team. There are 5 things. 1. Every weather product has an age. The clearest picture on the bridge is not always the newest. When 2 sources disagree, establish which is current. 2. A passage plan needs its exits drawn in. The alternatives, and the point beyond which each one closes. Nobody had written down when that door would shut. 3. How a warning is phrased decides whether it acts. State the risk, state the action, state the time. Though the board was divided here. One member argued that a call to the master at night is itself a challenge, and that the master should come up. 4. Know your ship's numbers before you need them. The list at which your engine loses oil suction. The heel at which your ventilators down flood. The list at which your boats can still be launched. 5. Watertight integrity is a routine, not an event. What matters is whether opening and closing is logged, checked, and visible to somebody. A single hatch, left half shut, began this. The investigation produced 53 safety recommendations. Enclosed lifeboats. Open and shut indicators where someone stands watch. Alarms in every cargo hold. The chairman closed with the ship's name. El Faro is Spanish for the lighthouse. He was confident these recommendations could serve as a beacon for present and future generations of mariners. Sources and credits are in the description. New investigation every 2 weeks.